Whoa. Hey, welcome to lesson 2.4. Well, writing the equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. In our last lesson, we discussed all about the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. This time we're going to be writing whole equations. And to do this, let's do a little bit of review. We're going to write the equation as just a regular line. Okay? Not the parallel and perpendicular, we're just writing the equation of a line. Write the equation of a line with a slope of 2 and goes through point 2, 1. This is something you might remember from last year, but I'll remind you how to do it. What you want to do is plug this information into y equals mx plus b. To write the equation of a line, you need two things. You need the slope, and you need the y-intercept. We're given the slope, and we're going to use this point to find the y-intercept. All right? How you do that? Well, first we're going to plug the slope in. Our slope is 2, so we're going to plug that into our y equals mx plus b. So we get y equals 2x plus b. The next step is to plug in our point. Right? We have x and y is 2 and 1. So for x and y, we'll plug in 2 and 1. Y is 1, x is 2, and our m is 2, and our x is also 2. What we'll do here is solve for b so we can find our y-intercept. We get y1 equals 2 times 2 is 4 plus b. We'll subtract 4 from both sides, and we get b equals -3. And now that we have our two crucial pieces of information, our m is 2 and our b is -3, we can write the equation of this line. And let's check to see if we did this right, okay? Let's see if we can draw this line and see if it has a slope of 2 and goes through 2, 1. Well, we know the y-intercept is -3 and has a slope of 2, so it goes up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. All right? And so we draw our line, nice and pretty like. And if you take a look here, sure enough, our line goes through the point 2, 1. So that worked out. This is an equation with a slope of 2 and goes through point 2, 1. So it's basically the same idea that we're going to be using for the rest of this. All right? For this example, we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form for a line that passes through 3, 2, and slope-intercept form, by the way, is just y equals mx plus b, and it's parallel to 2x plus 1. So the first question I'm going to say is, well, if we want to write the equation of a line that's parallel to y equals 2x plus 1, what is the slope of our new line going to have? What is the slope of our new line going to have? Well, if it's going to be parallel, and this is an important piece of information, so it's good that you circle it, it needs to have the same slope, right? So our slope is just going to be 2. All right? So this is just like the last problem. All right? So now we know the slope of our new line. All right? In this case, it was given to us. Write an equation with the line with the slope of 2. This one we had to figure out. And we had to figure it out. We just knew if it's going to be parallel, it needs the same slope. Well, from this point forward, it's pretty much the same exact question. It has to go through the point 3, 2, and it has to have the slope 2. Right? So let's write down x and y. 2 and 3, and we're just going to plug all of this. Why did I put 2 and 3? What's going on with me today? And we're just going to plug this all into y equals mx plus b, just like we just did. So let's go for it. Y is 2, m is 2, and our x is 3. And now we need to solve for b so we could write our equation. Well, let's do it. 2 equals 6 plus b. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. All right, and we get b is equal to -4. Look at that. That worked out so well. I'm proud of us. I am proud of us. So now we just have to plug in our important information. We know the slope has to be 2 for it to be parallel, and we need a y-intercept of -4. So we just plug that in. Y equals 2x minus 4. And that's our equation. Y equals 2x minus 4. Now take a second. I want you to graph both of these lines, y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals -2x minus 4, and see if this actually works. Graph it on your own. All right, hopefully you paused your video and you now have these two lines drawn for you. You'll see that your first one's your original 2x plus 1, and then your second line right here is y equals 2x minus 4. Well, you can obviously see they're parallel. They have the same slope. All right, 2x and 2x. Now let's see if it actually goes to the point 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, and so this was done perfectly. Let's move on. All right, in this example, we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form for a line that passes through negative 2, 2, and it's perpendicular to 4y plus 2 equals 2x plus 8. Now to do this first, we recognize that it's perpendicular, and 2, we need to find the slope of our original line. And if you notice here, it's not in y equals mx plus b form. So what are we going to start by doing? Solving for y. And the way we do that is divide everything by 4. Okay, let's divide everything by 4 first, right? When we do that, we get y is equal to 2/4 x plus 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2/4 can be reduced, so let's reduce fractions where we can, and we get y equals 1/2 x plus 2. And that is our line. Okay? Well, now we can find the slope of that, and it's just 1/2. Now, since this is perpendicular, we know the slope of our new line, the equation that we're going to write, needs to have the opposite reciprocal slope. So our slope is going to be negative 2 over 1. That's the slope that we need to use for it to be perpendicular. Because if this is 1/2, our new line has to have a slope of negative 2 over 1, which is the opposite reciprocal. All right, we're going to use, now it just becomes exactly what we've been doing. We write down our points, negative 2, 2. We plug into y equals mx plus b, so our y is 2. Our m is negative 2 over 1, so we just put negative 2. Our x is negative 2. And we're just going to solve for b. All right, so we get 2 equals 4 plus b. We subtract 4 from both sides, and we get b is equal to negative 2. Let's write our final equation now. So our slope has to be negative 2 over 1. Our b is negative 2. Let's try it. Y is equal to negative 2x. I don't need to put the 1 there. Minus 2. All right, I'd like you guys to take a second and graph them and see if they are perpendicular. Did this work? Are these two lines perpendicular when you look at them? Check it, all right? Give yourself a second, pause the video, and give it a shot. Okay, if you did this correctly, you should have something that looks like this. And let's check. Does that look perpendicular? Well, that does look like a 90-degree angle. So I think we did this perfectly. Second, we should check. Does it go through point negative 2, 2? Negative 2, 2 is right here. So yes, we did it correctly. All right. Let's give another one a shot. In this equation, you'll notice here, we're going to write the equation line going through point P, which is right here, and parallel to the line pictured below. Well, this is exactly what we've been doing, but instead of giving us the equation and giving us the point, it's pictured, right? So to find our slope and our point, well, we just got to write it down. So first, let's write down our slope. Our slope of our line is going to be, we go down 1 over 2. So it's negative 1 over 2 because it's going down. And our point, which is P, is going to be 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 6. All right. So first thing to do is find the slope and find your point. So let's just move that over here, which we've been using. Let's identify our slope as negative 1/2. Since it's going to be parallel, we use the same slope, and it has to go through 3, 6. Well, that's all we had to do. Now we just go on and solve it like we've been doing. So let's plug it in. Y is 6, m is negative 1/2, and x is 3. Okay. So let's solve for this. This is 6 equals negative, and you might remember, drop a 1 under that 3. When we multiply this, we get negative 3, 1 times 3, over 2, plus b. All right. We're going to do this, and don't be afraid of the fraction. You can still do it the same way we've been doing it. We're going to add 3 halves to both sides, just exactly the way we've been doing. Let's do it. Don't be afraid. You get b, because these cancel, is equal to 7.5. All right. So now we just put our final answer in. Y is equal to, we got our slope is negative 1/2, plus our b, which is 7.5. All right. Try graphing that and see if it works. I have a feeling that it does.